Jarvis.
Welcome home.
Who the hell are you?
I've watched you from deep behind Norman's cowardly eyes.
Spider-Man No Way Home revealed that unlike the MCU, the Raimi-verse and the Webb-verse don't include the Avengers.
I don't want to brag, but I will. I was in the Avengers.
The Avengers?
Yeah. That's great. Thank you. What is that? Wait, you don't have the Avengers? Is that a band? Are you in a band?
The main reason for that is that Sony never owned any of the other Marvel characters outside of Spider-Man's world. So, they never came to be.
Please don't say that.
But maybe the Spider-Man universe characters in these two universes actually have variants of the MCU.
What the?
The two other Peter Parkers were obviously variants of Tom Holland's Peter.
I love you guys. Thank you.
There were Aunt May's, MJ's, Uncle Ben's, and Flash Thompsons too. But apart from them, what if Tobey's Norman Osborn was a variant of MCU's Tony Stark? Be ready to get your mind blown, because it is totally possible. Hello fellow quirky folks. Today we're gonna look at the parallels between Tony Stark and Norman Osborn to see if they were actually variants of each other. But first, we should look at a few examples and decipher how multiversal characters work. The Loki series revealed that two variants may or may not look alike. So far, we've seen several variants in and out of the MCU.
Hey, Parker.
Many Loki variants showed up in the Disney Plus series.
Will someone please explain to me what the hell is going on?
What If introduced many other doppelgangers. No Way Home showed us variants of Spider-Man. J.K. Simmons showed up as J. Jonah Jameson variants. Multiverse of Madness will bring in at least a couple of Doctor Strange variants.
Things just got out of hand.
And we're set to get a variant of Tony Stark played by Tom Cruise. It's highly likely that Netflix's Marvel Universe is different from the main MCU.
Jessica Jones, stop talking.
Who the hell are you?
So, we've also seen variants of Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk already. Another variant that we got to see was in Captain America: Civil War. Alfred Woodard portrayed Miriam Sharp in Civil War. Then she also portrayed Maria Dillard in Luke Cage. This series also had Mahershala Ali playing Cottonmouth. And now that he is coming in as Blade in the MCU, we could believe that Blade and Cottonmouth are variants of each other. The same connections would be made with Tony's Spider-Man universe. Aaron Taylor Johnson played Quicksilver in the MCU, but now his variant will actually be Kraven the Hunter.
You didn't see that coming?
Russell Crowe is coming into the MCU as Zeus, but he is also playing a character in the Kraven movie. So by now, we've defined two guidelines for multiverse variants. First, two variants could have the same names, but they might look different.
You're Peter.
Yeah. Peter Parker.
Second, two variants could look alike, but have totally different names and personas. And a subcategory in the second guideline is that one variant could be a good guy, while the other may be bad. But we've got a theory which suggests a third category. In this category, two characters could be variants of each other even if they don't share names or faces. But there would have to be other similarities, or else any person in the entire universe could be a variant of any other person from the multiverse. Take a look at Norman Osborn and Tony Stark for a moment. When Osborn came into the MCU, he said that Oscorp didn't exist here.
Oscorp doesn't exist.
So maybe an exact Norman Osborn variant doesn't exist either. As far as we know, a Tony Stark or Stark Industries doesn't exist in the Raimi-verse either. I mean, yeah, many people could be named Norman Osborn in the MCU.
Bingo.
Or people could also be named Anthony Stark in the Raimi-verse.
Yes, this is Tony Stank. You're in the right place. Thank you for that.
But that does not mean that all of them would be variants of MCU's Tony or Raimi-verse's Norman.
You're making me beat up grass!
Instead, these two characters could be variants of each other.
I know, right?
Both of them were multi-billionaire genius scientists. Both Stark Industries and Oscorp were companies that did military technology research and development. And these companies were based in New York. So maybe MCU's version of Oscorp is actually Stark Industries, and Raimi vs. Stark Industries was Oscorp. Tony Stark and Norman Osborn ended up developing weapon-based suits which allowed them to fly and fight.
You just went supersonic.
Both of them were responsible for their own deaths, and they died with their own tech. And they were connected to their variants of Spider-Man in big ways, having huge impacts on the lives of the two Peters. To talk about two other vague differences, Tony sort of had the hots for Aunt May, while Norman Osborn also couldn't leave Auntie May alone.
It's so hard for me to believe that she's someone's aunt.
Yeah, well, they come in all shapes and sizes.
And secondly, Stark Industries had a hand in the Super Soldier program and serum, while Norman Osborn also performed an experiment on himself using a superhuman drug. Even when Norman Osborn came into the MCU, he said that someone else was staying in his house.
I didn't know where else to go. Someone's living in my house.
Instead of it being some random person, that house could be owned by Stark. Osborn was really impressed with Tony's fabricator tech.
Remarkable. The technology and you.
He really connected with MCU's Peter too. And if he were to be Tony's variant, then things would become even more personal for Peter. I mean, then, Peter would have fought a variant of the person he idolized the most. What better narrative could there be? Just think about this theory hard, because this headcanon could be turned into a reality if more people believe in it. It would be just like how the little kid wearing a mask in Iron Man 2 was later claimed to be Peter Parker himself.
Nice work, kid.
Do comment your thoughts on this theory. Give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to check out some more fun content on our channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!